Today we are going to talk about energy that comes from the sun. Energy is a thing that we can't touch and usually can't see, but today we will be talking about one form of energy that we can see, visible light. First, let's talk about what the sun is. It is an especially big star, which is a hot ball of gases. Let's focus on this word right here, gases, and do a little review. Everything in this world is made up of tiny pieces, so tiny that we can't see them with our eyes. These tiny units, called atoms, can join and rearrange with each other to make molecules. These molecules can then attract to others and form matter, which is just a fancy word for the stuff that makes up everything in the world. We will be using water molecules for our example. Molecules can be tightly packed into a shape, referred to as a solid. Ice is an example of a solid. Water molecules can also be in liquid form, where the water molecules are a little more separate and flow a little more freely, but are still attracted and close enough to each other to take up a set amount of space or volume. Lastly, matter, in this case water, can be in a gaseous state, where the molecules are free to flow. Unless they have something keeping them together, gases don't have a set shape or a set volume. This is like water vapor. Clouds are special and can have solid, liquid, and gases all in one. So now we understand what gases are. A cloud is partly made up of molecules in the gas phase. The sun is also made up of tiny particles in the gas phase, but instead of water, most of the tiny atoms that make up the sun are called hydrogen. Now, how does this hot ball of gases make energy? Something called nuclear fusion occurs. It sounds complicated, but let's try to understand it in a simple way. Fusion is the joining of things into one. That's what happens in the sun. The center part, or nucleus of little hydrogen atoms, fuse together and ultimately form another type of atom, helium. The process releases a huge amount of energy, which is then transferred or converted to other forms of energy, some of which we will discuss today. Does the energy made by the sun reach us here on Earth? Yes, some solar energy reaches Earth. Packs of energy from the sun get propagated or passed on in waves. Some of those energy waves can be detected by humans in different ways. For example, UV rays pass through the ozone to Earth and can cause sunburn and even skin cancer, which is why we need to wear sunscreen. Another example is infrared energy. We sense it as heat. Other energy waves from the sun can be detected by our eyes and so are called visible light. All the visible light wavelengths are mixed together and appear as white light in our eyes. Do not confuse this mixing of light with mixing of pigments. As we've learned, mixing of all colors of light makes white light, but mixing all colors of pigment, like that found in paint, makes black. So to summarize, we learned in the slide that the sun's energy can be sensed by humans in different ways. The sun provides us with warmth and light, and all of the wavelengths of visible light together appear as white to our eyes. Let's look a little closer at these waves. When we talk about these waves, it might be helpful to compare them to ocean waves that you would find at the beach. The distance from one wave peak to another can be measured. Call this wavelength. We can also measure the number of waves that lap the shore per second. Let's call this frequency. Some waves have more energy than others and can wash away larger sandcastles. Which of these waves do you predict would be most likely to wash away this bigger sandcastle? In this picture, this bigger and faster wave might be able to wash away this bigger sandcastle, while this smaller wave might only be able to wash away this smaller sandcastle. Light also has specific energies, wavelengths, and frequencies. Some have bigger waves, but less overall waves per second. Let's compare two of these for our understanding. Of these two, infrared radiation has lower energy, lower frequency, but greater wavelength. Ultraviolet, on the other hand, has more energy and more frequency, see it has more waves per unit time. However, ultraviolet has smaller wavelength when compared to infrared. The energy waves from the sun can interact with objects in different ways. They can be absorbed, transmitted, reflected, refracted, polarized, diffracted, or scattered, depending on the object and on the wavelength of light. We will focus on the first four and only talk about visible light for this part of the lesson. Absorption occurs when matter takes in or captures light. The energy from the light gets captured by the molecules and stored or converted in different forms. For example, think of the black pavement that we drive our cars on. This absorbs all of the wavelengths of light energy, which gets converted to heat. That's why the pavement sometimes feels hot to our feet. Transmission occurs when waves move through a material. Think of the glass windows of our cars. Light travels through the window and hits our eyes. This is why we're still able to see outside of the car, even when the windows are rolled up. Reflection occurs when light hits the surface of an object and changes direction back towards the media from which it came. You can think of it as light bouncing off of an object. For this, think of a mirror or a body of water that reflects light into our eyes. Refraction occurs when light waves change speed and direction as they pass from one medium through another. The different wavelengths of light change speed at different rates and bend at different angles. Here we demonstrate this with the use of a prism, which is a transparent tool with flat surfaces that refracts light. Let's review that again. Let's say that this beam of light energy right here gets released from the sun, travels through air, and then changes its speed and direction as it passes through the water. Is this bending of light called absorption, transmission, reflection, or refraction? This is an example of refraction. This energy beam hits Earth and is captured by some green grass, which uses the energy to help it grow. Is this an example of absorption, transmission, reflection, or refraction? Yes, this is an example of absorption. What if light hits a cloud and changes direction back towards the air it came from? This would be an example of reflection. Lastly, if the light passes right through the cloud, that would be an example of transmission of light through the cloud. There are other cool examples of the interaction of light with matter. For example, light can be refracted by water droplets in the air and lead to the formation of a rainbow. Pop quiz. Let's look at this image of the mountaintop that we see in the body of water. Is this an example of absorption, transmission, reflection, or refraction? The answer is reflection. The light is bouncing off of the water and into our eyes. In all of the previous examples, we saw all wavelengths of light being treated equally. Remember that all the different wavelengths combined look white to our eyes. So in these examples, every single wavelength is interacting with the object in the same way, either being absorbed, transmitted, reflected, or refracted. However, many real-life examples aren't this simple. Remember that green grass that we talked about earlier? The green grass absorbs sunlight and uses that energy to help it grow. And remember that what we view as white light is actually made up of all wavelengths. Well, that green grass doesn't absorb all the wavelengths of light. The green wavelength is actually reflected and not absorbed. This is why the grass appears green to us. We are sensing the green light that is being reflected from the grass. Other wavelengths are absorbed. The differences in wavelengths of visible light spectrum is also why the sky appears blue to us. Higher frequency of light, those with shorter wavelengths like blue, get scattered more easily by the particles and gases in our atmosphere. This blue wavelength of light spreads all around the sky and makes the sky look blue. We view the sun and the sky around the sun as different colors depending on where the sun is in the sky and which wavelengths of light most reach our eyes. This is why the sky and sun can look pretty colors during the sunset. That was a lot, so let's do a review. Energy in general may be a difficult concept to grasp. We plan on making a video on energy in the future, but today we focused on only one form of energy, specifically on the visible light energy from the sun. The sun is a big hot ball of atoms in the gas phase. The nucleus of some of those atoms fuse, and the process releases a lot of energy. The sun's energy gets propagated in waves, and some of those energy waves reach Earth. Humans detect this in different ways. For example, we sense heat and light. The light from the sun has different wavelengths, and all of them together look white. Light can interact with objects in different ways. We reviewed absorption, transmission, reflection, and refraction. We use this knowledge to briefly discuss why the sky looks blue and how rainbows are formed. Let's test our understanding of some of the subject material by doing some hands-on experiments. Many of these have been done before. They are simple and fun, but still should be done with the help of an adult. Before we get started, we have to understand that we can get light in other ways too. We learned that reactions in the sun emit energy, some of which we can see in the form of visible light. We can also get light from other sources, but these may release certain wavelengths of light more than others depending on the source of light and on the temperature in some cases. For our experiments, we will be using a flashlight. For our activity, we are going to shine light on different materials to determine whether light is being transmitted, absorbed, reflected, or refracted by those objects. For this test, we will be using a flashlight and a piece of plastic wrap. When we shine the light in front of the plastic wrap, the light passes through it. This is called transmission of light. Our next test is going to use the same flashlight, but this time we will be shining the light on a piece of black construction paper. As you can see, all wavelengths of light are being absorbed by the black paper. No light is going through. For this experiment, we will be using our flashlight to shine light on the mirror and piece of tinfoil. We'll start with the mirror. This time, we will point the flashlight onto our object in the opposite direction than the other tests. You can see that the light is being reflected by the mirror and is showing up on the black wall, even though we're not directly shining the flashlight in that direction. Now let's test the foil. We see a similar situation happening here. Our next demonstration will be showing you an example of diffraction of light. The pencil inside the glass of water looks bent. This is because of the refraction of light when it moves from air through the water. It's going slower. Next, we will shine light through a prism. Again, when light moves from air through the prism, the wavelengths change speed and direction, called refraction. With the prism, light is separated into its different wavelengths. If we look at the prism at different angles, we can see the different wavelengths of light, from violet to red. For our next demo, we will be using a green leaf. This is a slightly more complicated demonstration. When we shine light on it, many wavelengths of light are absorbed, but some are also reflected and transmitted. Specifically, the green wavelength stands out. The green wavelength is being reflected, which is why the leaf appears green, and also some transmitted, which is why we see a green tint on the whiteboard. For our next hands-on activity, we will be using a red gummy bear, a green gummy bear, and a red laser light. Let's first shine the red laser on the red gummy bear. The red light is being reflected and transmitted by the red gummy bear. We can even see some of that red laser that passed through the red gummy bear hitting the surface of the green gummy bear. If, on the other hand, we shine the red laser on the green gummy bear, the red light is actually being absorbed by the gummy. We do not see any red laser light passing through the green gummy to the surface of the red. Let's test these sunglasses. Sunglasses let some light in, which is why we can still see outside with them on, but it doesn't let all of the light in, which is why our view is less bright with sunglasses on. Here are some of the materials we tested today. What other materials can you think to test? Light is so important to humanity that huge amounts of time and energy are devoted to understanding light, and we are still learning more today. We hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new yourselves.